We've seen how to create vectors and matrices by entering values by hand in the command window. So I can create a vector like this with the values 1, 2, 3. So this suffices for a lot of applications where we want to make a vector and we know the values that we have, and it's a fairly small number of values that we want to type in. Lots of times, however, we'll already have data and we'll want to import that data into MATLAB, store it as a vector or matrix, and then use MATLAB to process that data. We'd really prefer not to have to retype all of the data into MATLAB. So one common way that we might have our data stored is in what's called a comma-separated value file. So here's an example of a comma-separated value file. You can see that the name is really descriptive. It's a bunch of values and they're all separated by commas. The name of my file is highs and the extension is .csv for comma-separated value. I can import CSV files into MATLAB using the CSV Read function. Inside quotation marks, just like a string, I put the name of the file that I want to read in. So I want to read in highs.csv. And what that does is it takes the values that were in my file and reads them in as a vector. So here it's just being stored in this answer variable, but I could go ahead and actually make a vector to store those values into. Right? Now I have all those values from my file stored in a vector, and that means that I can process them in my code by calling functions or doing other manipulations on the vector. So I could ask for example, the max, the myval array. Right? So one thing to be aware of is that in order to use CSV Read like this with just the name of the file, you need to make sure that your file is in the place that MATLAB is looking. And so MATLAB is going to look in My Documents, and then within My Documents, the MATLAB folder. So if you want to be able to import something using CSV Read, make sure that it's in your My Documents folder and in the MATLAB folder that's inside of My Documents.